How many of you out here have a cell phone? Do me a favor, hold it up, I can see it. Okay, can't quite see all of them in the back there, but I'm relatively certain that none of your cell phones look anything like this one. Why is that? Nothing wrong with this cell phone. It makes phone calls, that is its intended purpose. And yet, I heard a lot of giggles when you saw this picture. It's ridiculous that you would use this cell phone. The technology in the device in your hand is vastly superior to anything that this ever offered. And yet, in the year that this phone was top of the line, 1974, our industry adopted a technology that we're all now very familiar with, and sadly, still using today, the UPC barcode. And even then, in 1974, it wasn't new. It had already been around for 20 years. And it took a true visionary, Alan Haberman, who was then CEO of First National Stores, to recognize and to champion the importance of making this change to push our industry forward. It is time to change again. We are being left behind while others are moving forward. It is time for the next evolution in item tracking. Radio frequency identification, or RFID. Grocery retailers and CPG companies are using outdated methods of data gathering and tracking, while large technology-driven companies are encroaching on our industry and stealing share. We have got to catch up. So I'd like to show you a video from the RFID lab experts at Auburn University that will demonstrate the capabilities and the advancements that RFID has versus the antiquated UPC. RFID, so easy a baby can do it. Thank you for being here with us today. We are Team RFID, and we are ready for the intelligent data that RFID can bring to our industry. I'm Becca Lind with Albertsons Companies.
I am Eddie Sagastume with Smart and Final.
I'm Janica Jessen with Earth Friendly Products.
I'm John Sellers with Vallarta Supermarkets.
I am Aaron Ryan, Stater Brothers Markets.
Hi, I'm Justin Lopez with Fred Meyer.
And I'm Donna Mendez with Rayleigh's, and together we have over 150 years of retail experience.
Now, folks, I know some of you out there might be thinking, are we really having a conversation about RFID again? Some of you or the other leaders in your companies might have sat in the meeting room, listened to the topic of RFID be pitched in the past. So why are we talking about it again? What has changed? The biggest reasons to start talking about RFID again are the significant increases in the capabilities of RFID and significant cost reductions in the cost of RFID. A study from McKinsey & Company shows that in the last decade, cost of individual RFID tags has decreased by 80%, down to as little as 1 cent per tag, and those costs will surely continue to decrease with significant scale. But not only have the costs of the RFID tags themselves gone down, cost of reading equipment has also decreased significantly. Cost of reading equipment has gone down by 50% in the last decade, and that reading equipment's capabilities has increased drastically as well. Reading equipment has now 50% more accuracy, and the range of reading equipment has quintupled in the last decade. Now, you might also be thinking, if the UPC is outdated, why not use some other technology such as QR codes or something more sophisticated like Just Walk Out technology that uses cameras and AI computer learning to provide a frictionless checkout experience? The problem with those technologies is they are one-dimensional, and they do not solve for multiple industry-wide problems like the RFID has the capacity to do. As we saw in the video, RFID allows for multiple items to be scanned at once with great accuracy. And not only that, RFID has the capacity for both read and write capabilities. So you can scan the data that's on the product, and you can also alter that data throughout the product's life cycle. You can't do that with QR codes or cameras. Now, a change like this would be very significant for all of your companies. And we understand that there are many competing priorities when it comes to making long-term strategic decisions for your companies. And at the top of that priority list is that your decisions be fiscally responsible. So as you start to make the decisions on what you want your future CapEx investments to be, and are weighing between different tangible and intangible assets that you want to move forward with, we ask that you keep in mind the significant increases in capabilities of RFID and the significant decreases in its cost is bringing this technology down to a level where it'll help you reach your return on invested capital goals. So to help you make those decisions, we'll look at some of the challenges that our industry is currently facing. We'll look at some of the benefits that RFID can provide for retailers and CPG companies, and some of the costs and savings associated with it. And we'll also look at some recommendations on how we can roll this out throughout the entire industry, because we're all gathered here as members of the same industry, and we all face similar challenges. So let us look at how we can all come together to begin to implement the change to help solve those challenges.
Today, I would like to share with you a few reasons why the change is necessary. The first is labor shortages and rising labor costs. We all know that we have a shortage of labor in this industry, and it has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Our industry's need for labor only increases with omni-channel retail, as it requires employees to pull items from the shelves versus the customers doing it themselves. The second is supply chain issues like inventory management. Manual inventory counting is time-intensive and susceptible to human error. There is a lack of visibility into what is happening in real time throughout the supply chain, and this causes out of stocks, inaccurate product location information, and unhappy customers. There is also a lack of traceability for things like product recalls, prompting large amounts of food to be wasted each year because it is impossible to track these issues back to their source. And lastly, the food industry is in danger of getting left behind. Several large-scale retailers have already implemented RFID tracking systems, including Walmart, Amazon, apparel companies like Nordstrom, Lululemon, and Levi Strauss, and quick service restaurants like McDonald's. Just this month, Chipotle announced that they will start using RFID tracking throughout their supply chain so they can be more responsive to food safety concerns. You might recall that Walmart experimented with using RFID tracking in the past, but they recently decided to roll it out on a larger scale. As of 2020, they mandated their apparel suppliers to begin using RFID tags on all apparel items to be accepted into the store, and the success they had prompted them to begin rolling it out to additional categories. By the end of this year, Walmart will no longer accept items in the categories of electronics, home goods, sporting goods, and toys that are not tagged with RFID tags. And they indicated that they will continue to roll this out category by category.
So now we know why the change is necessary. So let's look at the potential cost savings the retail industry can capitalize on by utilizing RFID technology. $52 million. That is how much retailers can save with RFID. To arrive at this number, we looked at a 200-store supermarket chain of roughly 50,000 square feet. And we applied job metrics from regional chains of a similar size. What we found is retailers will see significant benefits in labor-intensive areas, such as the front end, by utilizing frictionless checkout. Inventory and ordering would also be greatly improved. They would also see a significant reduction in shrink from improved code date rotation and recall accountability. We believe CPG companies could see similar savings. As low-margin operators, we need to maximize these benefits by allowing our people to do people work and computers to do computer work. In-store shopping is not a thing of the past. It still provides tremendous value. Grocery shoppers are looking for that personal connection. We need to free up our teammates to allow them to focus on our customers. Now let's watch a quick video to help visualize what the future of retail could look like with RFID.
Retail is changing rapidly, and brick-and-mortar stores face more challenges than ever, like these long lines. Let's follow this customer and see how the shopping experience is different with Fujitsu's RFID self-checkout. At first, he shops as usual. The aisles look the same. But notice how all items are pre-tagged with an RFID tag, eliminating the need for scanning individual barcodes at point of sale. Now that he's done shopping, it's time to check out. And wait in a long line? Not so fast. Let's replace half the traditional checkouts with RFID checkout with Palm Secure. Of course, our shopper chooses to check out at the RFID checkout because there's no wait. To begin the checkout process, the customer walks up to a vacant RFID checkout. The customer checks in with his palm using Fujitsu Palm Secure Palm Vein Biometrics. The screen welcomes him as a loyalty customer, and then he simply walks through the RFID checkout. The RFID checkout will scan all items as he walks through with an extraordinarily high accuracy. Once scanned and paid, the happy customer exits the store, not having had to wait in a long line.
Wow, that was super impressive. Now let's discuss how we will launch RFID out into the supply chain. Our research from firms such as Avery Dennison and Zebra have taught us that the ideal place to implement RFID is at the point of manufacturing. Warehouses, manufacturers, and retailers will all need to purchase RFID readers that can be hooked up to existing equipment. Manufacturers will need to purchase RFID printers so that they can print labels that can be placed into the production process at the point of applying the tag to the packaging. So you ask, what is the cost of an RFID tag? And is here to tell you it's as low as about a penny a tag, which is with economies of scale, it can come down even further. So how much does it cost to implement RFID, say in a warehouse or a manufacturing facility or a supermarket? Our research has shown us that it's about $75,000 per outlet. So when you take the 200 store chain that Aaron just mentioned, and you calculate what does it cost to implement RFID for a 200 store chain, we're saying that it's about a $15 million CapEx investment. So our research has shown us that the return on investment for RFID far outweighs the costs.
So today we talked about how RFID can help control labor costs by reducing inventory and the labor needed to give our customers their products. We also discussed that many of us in this room are low margin operators and need technology that coexists and complements our current technology. With everything that's going on in today's world and the rising costs, we need to focus and be competitive in today's market in investing with an RFID tag. As there's numerous technologies out there, they do not have the track and trace capabilities of an RFID tag. With $52 million at stake, can we really afford to maintain the status quo?
Our hope for today is that you leave here feeling a bit more excited and optimistic about the possibility that RFID will bring to the retail landscape. It will be that industry disruptor. Now, we know that RFID is not a new technology. In fact, it's been around almost 20 years. But during that 20-year time period, it's been in that incubation mode where advances in readability, range, and cost have all significantly improved. Now, we know that you have several competing priorities when it comes to an investment of this kind. And we are asking that you move RFID up to the top of that priority list. We believe the benefits will far outweigh the cost. In fact, companies that have adopted RFID technology have reported lower operating costs and higher revenue. Now, let me ask all of you a question. Who doesn't want higher revenue, right? The time is now. We need that visionary, very visionary that Alan Havernan was for the UPC Barcode. He helped pioneer that advancement into the industry landscape, and just look at where we are today. The UPC Barcode has outlived its industry life cycle. It has served its purpose, but it is outdated. We need to move out of the 1900s and into today. Change is not always comfortable, and we're asking that all of you get uncomfortable with change and help position RFID as that vehicle that will move us into the future. In addition to the omni-channel spaces we need to be in, brick and mortar retail has a prominent space in our future. In 2021, Forbes reported that customer personalization and in-store experience will be in high demand. RFID is going to help alleviate some of those labor pressures and help us get that rich data that we need to move us into the future and help personalize that experience. Big tech companies like Amazon have already made acquisitions like Whole Foods because they understand the importance of being in a brick and mortar retail space. We believe that RFID is going to take us into that in-store experience and personalization. We are Team Ready for Intelligent Data, and we thank you for your time. On behalf of our team, we are ready for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Great job, everybody. I was just wondering if you had some ideas on what is the best approach to get grocery CPG companies to take this step together to really drive the type of change that you're talking about.
Okay, I'll take that one. As we went through the benefits, we realized we talked about things like frictionless checkout, but we do think that there are a lot of benefits when it comes to inventory counts and accuracy that will benefit the CPG companies as well. In addition, as we talked about, large companies with lots of scale like Amazon and Walmart are already starting to require their CPG partners to do these tags. It may not be in grocery yet, but you better believe it will be. And then if we can partner as an industry with our scale, I mean, it's just going to be the thing that makes sense that's going to get everyone on board.
I have a question. With the check stand technology, you haven't addressed alcohol going through the line. Also, with an average of about 10% of items going through our check stands being scalable, how does that work?
Thank you for the question. So there are some technologies that are on the horizon that would allow for RFID data to be printable onto a label via an electronic laser jet printer. Those are a little bit further out than what's out there currently, but we do envision the potential, like some of the grocery stores that allow you to random weight on a scale, print out a label, and therefore be able to scan it at the self-checkout or at the check stand. And with that nanoparticle technology that's on the horizon, there's a potential there to be able to print that RFID tag and still allow for those random weight items to be able to go through a frictionless checkout by the consumer being able to print it and put it on their packaged label of produce or whatever the case might be.
Real quick, one more question. Curious, back here. Is there any relationship that you can tie this to electronic shelf tags so that there be some sort of enhancement there? Or is this a standalone technology and you'd still have to invest in electronic shelf tags?
I'll take it. Thank you for the question. So there's a lot of relatable equipment and different technologies that will help advance. In regards to specific with the label tags or the electronic shelf labels, we have not looked into that. We do not have an answer for that. However, we have found that a lot of the different technologies existing out there are working right now currently with an RFID tag. All the trace and trackability efforts are because of an RFID tag. So we have found in our research, there's a lot of different ways that it can communicate and attach to existing. Thank you.